Hey, how you doing? I got your question, and I was just like, oh, how am I going to find stuff like that? And so I started to churn through, and it's not intuitive. Let me show you how I got to a solution. First of all, hey, thanks for reaching out. First of all, you can see some of this stuff that I looked at. The first one is I was just like, well, let me use some of the words that a sociologist would use: immigrant populations, curriculum, or pedagogy. When I go to look at how medicine is interacting with people, usually the nursing databases have like the richest set because they have like a great deal more communication um, than the general medical population, and might give us the controlled keywords for getting into all of that other literature. So, and you wouldn't necessarily know that. So this is something where you would have to like reach out to librarians. And this one is spectacular, I have to say. Sinal, the nursing professionals have done fantastic levels of research. I think second only to education. So, be that as it may, I'm throwing in keywords: immigrant populations, and then in the second line, I'm putting pedagogy or curriculum. And you can find this in the advanced search of any database, really. And I was just like, well, what am I going to get? And I started casting around. Casting around very slowly. And I only got 12. And I was just like, oh no, they must teach about this. And there's like you said, there's a bunch of things that don't quite fit. But I did find one. This one was close. This one was close. This one was the one that I thought, oh, that one looks pretty close on target. Effects of cultural education and cultural competence. I was like, ooh, that speaks to immigrant populations, diaspora, and things like that. And I was like, well, what's going on with that? So I tried a different set of keywords based on what they had. And they talked about cultural competence. And so I went and revised my keywords. Can I get back to OneNote? I revised my keywords to, you can see this one, I did cultural education or cultural competence. There's also cultural training, which is kind of like, ugh, that didn't give us a lot. And then I added teaching as well. So what happened when we did that? You know what? So you don't have to watch me type. I'm gonna grab the whole mess. And I'll send you these keywords too. So, so when I put it in a line like this, and what's going on here? Um, actually, I could just do or teaching. Why do I put quotes around some things and not others? When you're in an old style of a database, you have to put quotes around it, or it won't stick the words together, and it might grab education here and cultural there, and you'll get irrelevant results. So that really helps. The or means go out and search for this first term first, bring back the search results, then go out and do the other search term and bring back those results. Then this and right here is asking, out of that big pile of results that you brought back, only give me the ones that have these keywords in. And we can describe where the keywords are. And I found that you could narrow it way down to the title, but the abstract was good too. So some of these things are swimming around in the text here and there, but if we look directly in the abstract, and again, we're only in the nursing CINAHL complete. If we look in the abstract, then they're going to talk about their methodology and the main points. Now we have 384. There's teaching methods, cultural competence and health literacy in pharmacy curriculum. So we're getting into the ballpark here. Culturally relevant health education, But here's that cultural competence again. Nursing students for cultural competence in emergencies. And I imagine that talks about language barriers and things like that. So this is really close. I like this one. Cultural humility, and decolonial practice. Wow, that's a big deal. And you'll see a lot of these are rather new. A lot of that's going on right now. So that was really good. So if we like those keywords, we can move on to other resources. If you don't necessarily think those are going to fit, go through a list of this 384, and are there any that really, really resonate with you? Go in and see how they describe it. What are the words that they use? Because when somebody publishes an article, they're also promoting the vernacular, the colloquialisms, the nicknames, the aphorisms, the way that things are described. And so if it turns out to be cultural competence is that main thing that they talk about, it's going to start to encompass a bunch of ideas. I guess that's a heuristic, isn't it? Or a meta heuristic. I got in an argument about that once, and somebody was just displeased with my use of the word heuristic. So let's not speak of that. Second place I would go, if I'm confident with my keywords, is you can go to the library catalog, and we'll go to the advanced catalog search. I'm going to do that same set of keywords. And what I want to find is books, hopefully like a textbook that does this, because that would be further evidence. And on this one, I don't think we have an abstract in this, so I'm hoping to find it like in the subject. And pedagogy or curriculum or teaching. I'm hoping to find that in the subject too. We'll see if this is a disaster. I didn't do this search. I would wager that if there was a book that was teaching a textbook, this would be a chapter in a book. But I got 12,000 results. It's nothing to sniff at. And I'm going to scoot over to the side, and you can narrow down by books or book chapters. I wonder if we can do both. We can. Yeah. Did I click apply? I did. Okay, I'm going to move my head again. Oh yeah! So you'll notice I did not put medicine in this one because we're still casting a wide net. So what you could do is go up to this and add a new line and say, I want to do medicine, health, whatever those keywords are that you think of. But I was just trying to see, does this exist and what do they call it? And it looks like intercultural competence is a good one. Teaching health humanities, facilitating student blah, 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 blah is a religious text. Cultural competence. So it is a thing. And it seems like cultural competence might be one of the good ones. How do we move beyond that into specific case studies where somebody is doing this in an education context or in a practice? That's something where you might have to noodle around with the keywords. Oh, excuse me. Let me show you two places where you could do that. Oh, this storm is wreaking havoc on my sinus. First one, there's an education database that is I alluded to earlier, which is fantastic. These are the people that have done more research than just about everybody else under the sun. It's sociology. I'll show you a sociology database too. Sociological Abstracts is the name of it, in case I forget to go there. So what we could do is we could do all of our keywords again. But this is education. So this is K through 12, this database. What do I want? I'll start out in full text. But what we could do at this point is this is education, and it's not necessarily in medicine or health, But what if we wanted to narrow down to immigration, immigrants? Look at all of these different synonyms they have. Immigrants or immigration or immigrant or refugee or refugees. They kind of give that suggestion. Let's see what happens if we can see if that's a context. And this might be, but the cultural education. Yeah, refugee health. Ooh, that's another good one. Did not think about that one. So instead of looking at the educator, look at the person who's intended to be affected by this, the patient. Multiculturalism. Lessons about immigration into teacher education. What was that one? Refugee health. Immigrant and refugee health. Okay, so lastly, I mean, you could add another line, and you could say health or medicine or medical. If you wanted to narrow down to that specific set. Let's see what we get with that. Oh, 35. That's a tidy list. Multicultural school. So it looks like multiculturalism, cultural competence, and things like that are part of it. Pause YouTube, and you can see the keyword set right here. And I think this seems to be a good way to go. But part of it is just kind of noodling around and see what you see. Another database is called Sociological Abstracts. Another one is called Social Sciences Premium. Those two are going to talk about the social implications and looking at society and studies of effects of things like this. But when you go into the profession itself, I think it's going to have a better set of those things. And they're going to use sociological terms like populations and culture and community and things like that. So let me know how it goes. I'm about to go on vacation, so I'll keep my eye on email. But if you don't hear from me next week, it's because I'm off in some place with no internet. But I think this is going to be a good start for you, and it's a fantastic topic. And I think you're going to find maybe, hopefully, too much stuff, so you'll have to narrow it down. Thanks for reaching out.